Travel Chronicles. What's up? This is the Political Chronicles 2024. So, tried to do something yesterday. I'll probably end up deleting that and go with this one. But I was trying to recap the events of this presidential election because it is historic, right? So, somebody in 2050, you're researching what happened in the presidential election of 2024. Here's a breakdown of what has happened so far as we come to the end of July of 2024. Okay, we're still 100 and some days out from the election, like 104 days out, 103 days out. You know, we're pretty far away. We're still over 3 months away from the election. And what has happened so far is, you know, we go back to the primaries. And this was, it was an odd primary season, to say the least. On the Republican side, you know, normally that's the side where you have a lot of debate because you have an incumbent president. So there's a lot of, you know, back and forth. The debates are important, quasi-important, I guess, because, you know, people are getting their message out there. Everybody's up there on stage together. But this time, Donald Trump, who, you know, previously was president, decides, nah, I'm not debating you guys. Y'all could have at it. I'm not coming. I'll, you know, put my own message out, but I'm not going to be on stage with you people. And they get to the primaries, and it's a little, you know, I don't even know if it was close to start with in like Iowa and New Hampshire tried to do something funny with their primary, moving it up, so everybody kind of balked at it. But, you know, by the time things shake out, you get to South Carolina. Nikki Haley's in the race. She's a former governor of South Carolina. Trump just wipes the floor with her. And at that point, it's basically over. You know, it's going to be true. And, you know, all these other people are still on the ballot as you go through the rest of the primaries. May have thrown the protest vote on for DeSantis. I kind of like DeSantis myself. I thought he has, you know, all of, you know, he's going to do all the same stuff that Trump's going to do, but he doesn't have the baggage, plus the way that he handled COVID within his own state. You know, take the mask off, we're open for business, you know, we're going to work with this. And also the stuff with keeping kids safe in school, I thought was good. So, to me, I thought DeSantis probably a better pick. Now, Trump has experience, obviously, you know, he was president, but he's older. DeSantis, mid-40s. So, to me, that was you know, that's the future. So, let's go ahead and make that step now. Appreciate you, Donald. You were president for 4 years. Good run. But in the end, Donald Trump ends up winning. You know, just blowout. So, you fast forward then to June, and Biden runs unopposed. He's the incumbent president. There's no competition. There's people that want to challenge him in a primary, though, right? Robert Kennedy comes forward. He's like, I want to be on the ballot with Biden. And the Democratic Party's like, no, we're not having challengers to the incumbent president. He is running by himself, garners 15 million votes in primaries across the country, you know, basically running unopposed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, 15 million people still voted in Democratic primaries. That still, you know, check the box for him. Good for him. So, he wins the Democratic primary. Trump wins the Republican primary. Fast forward to end of June. In an unprecedented move, both candidates have decided to debate each other outside of the Bureau for Presidential Debates, or whatever it's called, because neither one of them like him. Neither one of them trust him. Trump doesn't trust him because of the way they treated him the last 2 times, and Biden doesn't trust him because of the way that they handled the COVID restrictions during the last series. So neither one of them want to deal with the whatever it is for presidential debates, which normally happens in September. And there's like a head-to-head, a town hall, and then another head-to-head. Right? There's 3 series, and they decide who the moderators are. Normally, some type of news broadcasters, and that's the format. So both of them elect to bypass that. And they say, we're going to have our own debate in June. Now, mind you, party conventions haven't happened yet. Neither person has been named the official candidate for the party, but they both won their primaries. So, no reason to think that they won't both be. They debate in June. Trump obliterates Biden. Biden looks horrible, right? Even Democrats, they try to spin it right off the bat. It's like, oh no, he did good. But, now, during the last election, there were some debates about how information was passed. Was it freely passed? Was it moderated? Were voices kind of canceled during the election cycle on certain social media? And now Elon Musk has bought X, and his big thing is freedom of speech. He's like, I'm not censoring anybody. You can put anything you want out there, have it out there. I'm not blocking you. You can put it out there. So anything that is against Democrats, there's a lot of stuff. It was censored in favor of Democrats in the 2020 election. It is what the feeling is, and probably pretty good evidence for people who were demonetized and traffic was diverted from their pages. But this election cycle, Twitter's wide open. This is a wild, wild west. You can put anything on there you want. It could be true, may not be true, but people in our community they're usually pretty decent about, fact checking stuff, especially when people put stuff on there that, oh, Biden didn't say this or Biden didn't do that. It's like, oh no, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And they will call him right to the floor, and it's like, you're going to be honest. You have to be intellectually honest. So I do appreciate that change from Twitter that Elon Musk has done. So that it's going to be interesting how that plays out during this election cycle. That being said, Biden got destroyed. Trump, hands down winner across pretty much, all platforms. It's kind of undeniable, like how he looked. There's a lot of clips floating around. Biden at one point said that we defeated Medicare when he was talking about COVID. Just a lot of gaffes and stumbles, and he didn't look presidential when he was up there. A lot of gapped mouth, kind of staring off into space. Like, people claim that he has dementia, or at least early indications of dementia. I'd say that's probably a good bet. My mom has dementia. She's 94. She's not 81, but a lot of similarities. It's hard to come up with what you're trying to say right off the bat, and some of the stories just go off the rails, and that's kind of the situation that he was in. So it's unfortunate to watch, but everybody got to see it, and there's no hiding at this point. You move ahead 2 weeks to July 13th. It's a Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania, and President Trump is giving a speech at a rally. He's up there talking to a slide that he has on a backdrop on a projector, and somebody shoots him in the ear, in the left ear, right? Because he's, I'm not sure. Maybe it was right. It was right ear, right? Because he was talking, he was like this, going back, boom. He tilts his head at the last second, and the shot just clips his ear. Pandemonium ensues for the next couple of days, because this is an assassination. There hasn't been an assassination attempt, where somebody got to the president since 1981. So it's been 40 years, and that was President Reagan. Somebody kind of ran up, shot him, I think in the stomach area or something, and that was a crazy scenario. So this is crazy because he was in an open area out in the field, and it's a 20-year-old kid that climbed up to a roof and took a shot at him from 130, 140 yards away. And they just had a congressional hearing with the Secret Service director on Monday, questioned her, up and down, and one of the congressmen pulls out weekend where he tried to recreate the events at his house. So a week after Trump gets shot, he goes to his house. He's up on a roof shooting from 140 yards away, and he nails the target 15 out of 16 times, like right in the head, kill shots. And the one time he misses, it goes to the guy's ear. So 94% chance that, and this guy said he hadn't fired the gun in 6 years, and this kid's probably out there shooting, you know, within the last week anyway, if he's going to take a shot at the president, you figure. And just, man, just happened to miss him. Just crazy, you know, hand of God type stuff to keep the president safe. Well, the Secret Service director doesn't resign. The next week is the Republican National Convention, right? Trump's got his ear bandaged. He goes up, he accepts the nomination, names J.D. Vance his running mate, junior senator from Ohio. Congratulations. And an odd thing during his acceptance speech, he never really named Biden by name. He talks about the White House, this administration, kind of in generalities, but doesn't really call him out by name. And this is something that Biden has kind of done on his own throughout his term, is like he will rarely refer to Donald Trump as Trump. He'll say my predecessor, previous administration, like that. He does that stuff. So, you know, trying to compare himself and differentiate. Well, Trump kind of did the same thing this time, but it was very awkward listening to him. Because you think he would just go ahead and take that shot. Because he hasn't been shy about taking shots at him at rallies and stuff. He'll say the name. So they get through the convention. Now he's the official candidate for the Republican Party. Well, since that debate, Biden's polling numbers going down. He's behind by 10 percentage points in some of these swing states. And the way it's presented is that he has no chance to win. Like he's got no shot to win. He ends up resigning from the nomination on Sunday at 1:45 p.m. in the afternoon. Odd, right? That's an odd time. He claims to have had COVID starting on like the Thursday, like the Wednesday or Thursday of the convention, like maybe trying to take some steam. Like, oh, I got COVID, I'm isolating, you know, whatever. He disappeared from the site. Actually, it might have been, no, it wasn't before the convention because he came on and kind of addressed the nation like 5 hours after Trump was shot. But, you know, that was kind of a throwaway. I mean, he couldn't pull something together right away. I don't know. Maybe he was taking a nap right then. Anyway, he goes into isolation. He sends this letter out, doesn't talk about anything. He's going to talk tonight, Wednesday. 3 days later, at 8 p.m., he's going to address himself dropping out of the election after he won the primary running unopposed. Right? He had one bad speech, right? And afterwards, he said, I'm not quitting. I'm in. Going to beat Trump. All the way, even through Saturday, he said that. And then Sunday, 1 o'clock, I'm out. Love piece of chicken grease, I'm out. Y'all, I'm not going to do it. And then he sends another, and he did it on X. That's the other thing. Like, he sent the message out on X from his account. And then he endorsed Kamala Harris. He didn't endorse her in the letter that he was quitting, but then he came back and was like, oh, yeah, also Kamala, that's who I'm pulling for to have this nomination. Now, if you said Kamala Harris was the goal the whole time, right? She can't run in a primary against Biden as the sitting vice president against the president. It's like, all right, who do you want to be the president next time? The current president or the vice president? You know, and the last time she was in a primary, she actually, in 2020, she dropped out before Iowa. So she never actually has any primary votes in a presidential election to her name, even though she was running for president last time. But she just got destroyed in the early debates and dropped out. It's like, all right, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna happen. And maybe there was a side deal. It's like, hey, drop out, let Biden get this early momentum, and then we'll pull you in as VP. Maybe they had a side deal like that. And it's like, you're one of the strong candidates for VP if you drop out. Don't know. But it's just very odd that you go through the whole primary season. You have a debate before anybody's named the official candidate, and then you drop out after the Republican candidate is official. So, you know, and that's after an assassination attempt on the guy. So Trump is at an all-time high from, like, because he took the shot in the air. They covered him up. They killed a sniper. He gets back up. He's got blood on his face, and he's, you know, trying to rally the crowd. It's like, no, I'm all right. You know, we're going to keep fighting. You know, keep going. He gets up and he stands. He says, fight, fight, fight 3 times. And, you know, keep fighting. Don't give up, which is like such a boss move. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, that was just, I've never seen anything like that. Like, he just got shot. Just got shot and got back up. And it's like, keep on going. Like, it's like that far from going right into his head. And, oh, I mean, just would have been catastrophic. And what does that do to the Republican National Convention at that point if he does get assassinated? Does that throw them into a tailspin? Who do they nominate at that point? I mean, that's just mind-blowing to even think about. And now you have the Democratic National Convention, which was 5 weeks after the Republican National Convention. So they still haven't officially named Kamala Harris, and, like, claws are out, right? Like, Trump is going after her, Republicans are going after her, the news is going after, like, everybody's, like, digging into who is this person, because as soon as she's named, polls come out and it's like, oh, look, she's dead even with Donald Trump. And it's like, she was non-existent in the primary 4 years ago. Obviously, she wasn't allowed to run this year, but she really hasn't done anything as vice president. She was allegedly in charge of the border. I mean, actually, there's a video clip. It's on The Guardian. You can search it on YouTube as well, where he named her as the person responsible for the border and the triangle, whatever they call it, like Central America, negotiating with them. Because Donald Trump had deals with them. It's like, you're not sending anybody here. You send them here, you're taking them back, or we're going to, you know, basically embargo you. You know, you're not sending anything else here either if you can't control your people. So they're like, all right, we'll take them back so we can send stuff to you. Is how that worked. And nobody responded to Kamala. She's like, hey, if you're thinking about coming up there, don't do it. And nobody listened to her. And it's just been a floodgate for 3.5 years of people coming into the country. It's been an unmitigated disaster, basically. So, you know, she has to own that. She was the last person, I believe, in, you know, the cabinet, the presidency, vice presidency. She was the last one that was in Europe before Russia invaded Ukraine. And I don't know if she had a meeting with Putin, but allegedly, like, she was the one that was there. She was supposed to be the one that said, hey, don't you do that. And then, like, the next day, he invades. So, like, I mean, he had stuff there beforehand. It's like, hey, we think we know what you're going to do. Don't you do it. And then he's like, okay, I'm doing it. And then we did nothing. So, you know, he was 100% right to do that. That whole situation is odd anyway. But, you know, in the previous, not in Trump, but when Obama was president, Russia took Crimea from Ukraine, and now you have the full-on trying to take the right side, basically getting land access to Crimea all the way in there. What he's trying to do. But that's been 2 years ago, and now you basically don't hear anything about it, but we keep sending them money and weapons and stuff. It's not good. It's not good. But that's where we're at in the 2024 election process. There's still a possibility that Kamala doesn't make it as the nominee. Like, that's still a possibility right now. But there is a drop dead date of August 7th where she's got to be on the ballot 90 days out in Ohio. Like, they have to commit to her being the candidate 90 days out, or she ain't going to be on the ballot in Ohio. And maybe they don't care about Ohio now that J.D. Vance is the VP. Maybe they're just like, yeah, screw it. We'll wait. We'll take our chances. You can have Ohio. You're probably going to win it anyway now. And we're going to pull some more shenanigans. So you're going to take shots at Kamala Harris for 4 weeks, and then they're going to go to door number 2, and it's like, aha, here's our real candidate. Don't know who that could be, but obviously she got a massive bump by being not the candidate, and then all of a sudden she's the candidate on Monday, and there's been a ton of money pour in. I don't know if they're counting like the Biden money that came over from his race over to her race now, even though they were together. So very, very odd. Oh, there was one other thing. After the Republican National Convention and J.D. Vance was named the vice president, they asked him about debating Kamala Harris, and he said, or that group said, it's like, we're not sure of the strategy because we don't know that Kamala Harris is going to be the VP when she may get moved to president, and we'll be debating somebody else. So we don't have a strategy right now to take her on because we don't know that she'll be the VP, which was, incredibly clairvoyant, or, this whole thing has kind of been telegraphed a little bit. So there's a 21-minute recap of the current 2024 election cycle from, just an outsider. I have no inside knowledge of anything that's going on. This is just me observing it, what I've observed, and it is odd, and it is crazy. It's very captivating right now for me as well. Very odd. Normally I don't care until like the debates, and then I'll watch, 1 or 2 of them, kind of make up my mind, and then be done. And usually my mind's kind of made up, especially when you got an incumbent that's failed as bad as Biden has, in my opinion. Handling of the economy, massive inflation, massive immigration, and his foreign policy has been horrid. So, there's nothing good that he's done. At some point, we need to roll Obamacare back, get that out of here, and that'll help. But that's all I got for now. I'm sure I'll have another update as we go on. So be careful, be COVID free. Later.